And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to our second match of the broadcast. Welcome to the quarterfinals, the round of 8 here of this week's Korean StarCraft League, week number 73. We have our two players. We have our TVZ spawning in the right-hand corner of Starchild. We have our South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran for Team Falcons. It is Bunny. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg. It is Dark. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat, as this is a rematch. If you were watching the CranKy Ducklings earlier this week, and if you weren't, check out the votes, papi. Check out the votes. We were casting the Rex April Madness. If you don't know what that is, the Rex April Madness is a monthly invitational that Rex has been hosting. Rex, of course, is the Taiwanese Zerg player. Last month, in March, he started hosting a monthly invitational, and that has glossed over, that has come over and gone over into April as well with another invitational. And we had a GSL group. We had a GSL group incorporating Bunny and Dark, and they faced off a couple of days ago in a best of 3, and Bunny did take it 2-0. Bunny was looking very strong, very intense, very in form, is what I will say, in that previous best of 3, and Dark less so. Now there's a reason for that. We did mention previously, Dark, he is slated to join the military this month, and as a result, Dark, he has been playing less. He's been playing less, he's been practicing less, he's been competing less. Because of that, he does look at times a little bit more rough around the edges, but as I say that, he did of course play in a couple of invitationals this week. He played in a show match against Clem, he played in the Rex Invitational as well, so Dark has been a little bit more active in recent times, and we'll see if that translates into a revenge match here. All I want to see is a back and forth. I want to see a back and forth. I want to see an ace match. We'll see how they do compare to each other in the rematch here in the KSL. Let's go. Let us go. So now we are going to be settling in. We have our ranks expand into factory. Standard opener here out of Bunny. Likewise, Hatchet Spool out of Dark. Now what's important about Dark is that Dark can be a very tricky player to play against. Dark can be very aggressive. He can be very dynamic. He can go into roach openers. He can go for a Ling Bane. Oh, sorry. He can go for Ling Queen and Nidus all-ins as well. He can be very aggressive here and also play macro, as one drone goes down already. A rough start here for Dark. Ay. That should not have happened. That should not have happened. One drone does fall, so that will slow Dark down early on. That's already a big win here for Bunny. Not the biggest of deals, but a win nonetheless for the Terran. Win nonetheless. Likewise, third base is spotted. It is going to be a standard opener here out of Dark. Bunny is aware, and Bunny is not playing standard. He is going for a 3cc 2-1-1. Let's go. Third command center is on the way. Second, Rax is on the way. What do we see here? Basically, Bunny, he's going to be cutting Hellion production early. Typically, we get up to 6, maybe up to 8 Hellions in TVZ, but here, Bunny, he will be cutting it early. He'll be going for an earlier add-on swap into an abundance of Marines instead, into an earlier stim timing. There we go. Stim is on the way, and this is all in favor of a delayed starport. So the starport and medevacs are delayed in favor of mass Marine, and this does hit a bit of a later stim timing with medevac support. 16 Marines, 2 medevacs. This does hit a little bit later. Now, because this hits later, because there are less Hellions, it does mean there's a give and take. It means that Dark, he can get away with droning a little bit harder, with cutting Lings early on, and with spreading more creep, just because there's less to threaten the creep, because there's less Hellions. So there are some pros here that Dark can take advantage of. There are definitely some things that he can do to kind of leverage himself early on. We'll see if he's able to, as Bunny is gearing up towards that same time. But now Dark just spreading creep, amassing out more queens. Dark comes in for a scout, and Dark, he will spot some Hellions back at home, but not much more than that. So far the scout is denied. You can see the Marine is in position to deny the Overlord scout as well. Dark is in the dark, and for now Dark is happily droning, which is fine. Like Dark, he can drone up to 2.5 base saturation, perfectly safe and sound. Now he does go lair first into Baneley Nest, into Ling Bane. It's still perfectly fine, but my concern here, as we're nearing that timing here, is going to be that stim timing. Medevac production has begun, stim is almost complete, and the bio army is massing up for that eventual move out. Now, this push here isn't meant to end the game. As you can see here, the Bunny, he has a third base, right? It's an economic build, it's very economic, it's very greedy. Third base, now getting saturated, but this timing can still get overlords, get queens, clear creep, and can actually get quite a bit of damage done if Dark doesn't respect it. But now Dark is joining. At this point, based on the passivity of all these Hellions, he knows. And he confirms. Yeah, Ling does confirm. He is now fully aware of the 2-1-1. It's going to be 14 Marines across the map, alongside 4 Hellions. Ooh, and can Bonnie deny the expansion? Can he force a cancel on the 4th base? Uh-oh. What do we have to defend? We have 5 Lings. Ooh, the Lings are late. Ling production is late here for Dark. But they might still come out in time. Likewise, Queens are coming together as well. And it looks like the Lings, they will pop in time to defend. Bunny, he shouldn't be able to force cancel. Does get a second Overlord that will supply block Dark. Oof. Yeah, Dark, he is supply blocked. Bunny stims in. Creep is spreading. Bunny has to respect that. Lings, they attempt to surround. You see Dark ready for a dive if at any moment Bunny overextends. Safety baitings on the way. Bunny, he goes to the Queen. Up, gets one. Yeah, one Queen goes down. And so far, these are good trades here for Bunny. He doesn't kill the 4th, though. That's what's important. Dark, he saves the 4th expansion. It would have been disastrous if that had gone down. Whew, but Dark holds. Dark holds. Bunny retreats. From here, he is saturating and establishing his 3rd base. He's throwing down extra Raxes. We do have the armory on the way for 2-2. For Hellbats as well. And Bunny, he will reinforce. And again, he continues to apply pressure to the 4th base. Now, there's barely any creep here, which is a little bit concerning. Bailing speed should finish up in time, though. And Bunny can threaten the base, but Dark does have the tools he needs here to defend, to survive. Comes down to the engage, though. Bailing speed is revealed. Bunny, he's aware. Bailing runway on the way as well, towards the natural. Bunny going for the expansion. Back at home, there are some reinforcements. Nice control here, nice reaction. Bailings are dealt with. So far, only 2 SCV kills. Yeah, and the damage is not good enough. Dark, he evacuates the base. He knows he cannot save it. He cannot save it, not anymore. The base does fall. Massive pickoff. And Dark's now in a rough position. I mentioned earlier that losing the 4th base would be brutal, and it is brutal. Dark is re-expanding towards the south, towards the right-hand side. And Bunny, all he has to do is rotate. The win condition now for Bunny is make sure that Dark never expands. If Bunny can knock down the 4th base time and time again, then Dark, I mean, he's just going to be outscaled in this game. Now, thankfully, there's a bunch of creep here slowing Bunny down. Likewise, there's 2-3 active tumors here on the right-hand side as well. This is all going to buy time here for Dark. As Bunny rotates Dark, going for a massive counterattack. Instead, he gets spotted. Dark is spotted. Bunny, how does he react? How does he respond? Back at home, he does have some defenses. Bunny moving in. Again, Lings, they are spotted. Hellbats, they stay behind to protect the tank. But you can see how far behind the tank has a siege because of all this creep. Yeah, the tank is so far behind. Drops the keeping tabs on everything else. Lings, they attempt to run by, but last Bunny is back at home. Oh, you can see Lings, they attempt to surround, but the Hellbats are in position. Likewise, Lings, they get caught out, and Dark, things are looking a little bit tough here for him. I don't know if he can hold against this. Queen goes down. Gets a Queen. Ling Runby comes in, gets dealt with by reinforcements. Bunny still just encroaching on this base. There's a lot of Ling Bane waiting for him, though. Again, the tank is still quite far behind, and Dark, he evacuates. Like, once again, he knows. Like, he does kind of see the writing on the wall here that he will be broken, so Dark, he evacuates. Lings are coming from behind. They do catch reinforcements, not bad. And some of the bio gets caught out. Drop into the mineral line. Dark is keeping up, catching SCVs, not bad. And he forces Bunny back. He forces Bunny back home. Very nice run by Lings. They bust into the bases, into the main, into the natural. This is all adding up. Ooh, getting 10 SCV kills. Oh, the tank is still fortified, though. Likewise, Lings, they do borrow. They borrow in the mineral lines. And finally, Dark is finding damage. Going for the CC. Oh, no! Ooh, gets a kill. Yeah, killed, not a cancel, not a lift. Massive pickoff. And Bunny's committing. Ultras have arrived. Bailey's a crash in. Ultra shuts down the tank. It's going to be 13 SCV kills. The more bio gets caught. The more bio gets caught. No splits. And Dark has momentum. This is his moment. He does have momentum. He's still lacking upgrades. Bearing in mind, he does not have 3-3. These are 2-2 ultras. Kind of splitting just finished. There are a decent chunk of Marauders. But Bunny forced to defend. Whew, and Dark, now he can saturate. You can see him here. He does resaturate. He's heading back over. Oof. Forcing friendly fire. Ultras are going to go down. This is a bit of an overextension here from Dark. Lings, they do hit the third base. Likewise, forcing friendly fire. 25 SCVs. Both players are hurting, but what's important here is the economy. The economy here is solid for Dark. If Dark had lost his expansion, different story, but he saved it. He saved the base. Dark is on 5 bases. He holds. All it took was one run by. One run by is all it took for Dark to distract Bunny. And in given time, Dark, he will exceed Bunny in supply. Right now, the supplies are neck and neck. I would say the army supply is in favor of Bunny right now. That is true. A lot of it is in medevacs. But that's only because the economy has yet to fully kick in for Dark. He needs a little bit more time, and he'll be the first to remax. So Bunny's all in. At this point, Bunny, he's all in. Either Bunny breaks Dark here and now he dies trying. 9 shots. Decent connections on the Lings. But there's no ghosts. Like, the problem here is that there are no ghosts. Like, there's no easy way to deal with these ultras. Fungal goes off, and the bio army gets caught, and Dark, he holds. He holds, he shuts us down. Whew. Again, Bunny was all in. Bunny, he doesn't break Dark. We have more reinforcements on the way. They're trying to move in. Oh god, jeez, the parabomb! Oh my god, the parabomb catches out Bunny. That's what 4 medevacs going down. And now you can see the economy kick in. Now you can see Dark skyrocket ahead. Whew. It was intense, man. Things were looking bleak for Dark, not gonna lie. They were looking bleak, but this is also where the map comes into play. Welcome to Star Child. Again, multiple attack paths, multiple avenues of attacks, run-bys, and counterattacks. This is where Bunny did struggle to defend. And this is Bunny's final push. There's no 4th CC. There's no 4th base. There's no longevity here for Bunny. It's all or nothing. Fungal's coming in. And again, Bunny, he was so close. He was so close to breaking Dark. It was looking very impressive. Up until that one Ling run by. Because if you remember, it was a Ling run by that's also distracted Bunny and allowed Ultras to catch him out in the center of the map. It also allowed Lings to hit the 3rd base. It led into, I believe it was 25 SCVs. It was like 25 SCVs going down, and of course a kill on the CC as well. And that did kill Bunny. And now Bunny, at this point, he's hoping for Dark to make some mistakes. If he doesn't split up his army well enough, if he overextends, here we go. Fungal pops off once again. The Fungals. Army gets Fungaled. Ultras that have in. There's a good amount of Marauders here, but the Ultras they can tank. They can hold their own. And that was the final army of Bunny. He's down to almost nothing. Oh, another parabomb this time, but no! This time Bunny does pull away. And Dark, GG gets called. Dark, he will take game at number 1. Ooh, GG. Again, a very intense game here, and this also again shows how important some of these maps can be. We speak about this all the time, but maps, they do kind of dictate what builds and what styles are stronger, what builds and what styles are weaker. Specifically, this hyper-aggressive, hyper-assertive style is more effective on smaller maps. I'm referring to Whispers of Gold, even maps like Ultra Love, Ley Lines as well. Speaking of, we have game 2. On these larger maps, that's where Zerg is more favored. The reason for this is because Zerg players have more breathing room. They have more breathing room to be able to buy time to mass up a greater army, to be able to counterattack, to spread more creep between yourself and your opponent. So it's these larger maps where Dark can thrive a little bit more. But now we're loading into a smaller map. Up next, Ultra Love. And this is where a lot more pressure is going to be on Dark. This is where Dark has to tighten things up, especially in the early game, because now there is less room for error. There's less breathing room here for our Zerg player. Let's go. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the red Terran player, the red Terran himself, representing Team Falcons. It is Bunny. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have the blue Zerg player himself from South Korea, leading the series 1-0. It is Dark. Here we go. Whew. Okay, and I'm very curious to see if Bunny does open 2-on-1 again. Does he go for a regular 2-on-1? Does he go for a 3cc 2-on-1? We have seen many a Terran player be very successful with these earlier stim builds and earlier stim timings on maps like Ultra Love. And we've seen them be, of course, less effective on those larger maps instead. So we'll see how Bunny does mix it up. Likewise, because the map is so small, it is more common to see Zerg players open Roach. Like, Roach-based openers are a lot more common on these smaller maps, just because Roach-based openers are safer. They're safer, they allow you to defend against early pushes, that much easier. Likewise, deal with early tank pushes as well with the Ravagers. So, as a result, that is a little bit more prevalent here on Ultra Love as well. We'll see. We shall see. Likewise, I mentioned at the start of the series how Dark, he is willing to go for his own all-in, so that's also going to be a factor. I mentioned how aggression is favored on Ultra Love, and I was more generalizing how, like, okay, that means like these timing attacks from Terran are stronger on smaller maps. That is true. At the same time, things like 2-base all-ins, 3-base all-ins from the side of the Zerg player, Roach heavy play, Roach-based all-ins, Link Queen Hydra all-ins as well, they also can be very effective on this map. And Dark, he is willing to embrace that sort of side of him. And now that he's ahead in the series, I wouldn't put it past him, to be honest. I would not put it past Dark to be more aggressive here and be more assertive in Game 2 on Ultra Love. Let's go. Here we go. So is Bunny sponsored? Yes. If you... it's in the intro. It's in the intro. Wait, the other one. Hold on. So it's right there. He's on Team Falcons. He's on Team Falcons. It's written out of game as well, written in game. Bunny's on the team. Dark is, I see some people asking about Dark. We tried to make this clear last year. Dark, he left Talon Esports back in November of last year. Dark is teamless, has been teamless the entire time because of military service. Like, just to reiterate, Dark, he did state that his military service is this month in April, which is why he left his team. Which is also why we had our farewell show match for Dark as well. This was like 2 weeks ago at the start of the month. This has already been public information for quite some time at this point. But for now, speaking of, there it is, 3cc 2-on-1. So this is our big speculation at the start of the series. It was whether or not Bunny would go for another stim timing. The answer is yes. So the answer is he is going for the same build 2 games in a row. I would say that this build is stronger on Ultra Love than it is on Star Child. So we'll see if Dark can keep up. Behind this, Dark has yet to throw down any tech. It does seem like Dark may be going for a Link Bane again. As he does pull out of gas, doesn't pull back in. So it does feel like Dark is not going to play Roaches here. But we'll see if he pulls back into gas and whether he does go for a lair first again. As it's still a little bit early for tech. I'll even say poke in. Oh, there it is, a Roach Warren. So as we mentioned, so it's going to be a 4-10-ish Roach Warren timing for Dark. As we mentioned, on smaller maps, Roach play is more common. It's more common, that's why we brought it up at the start of the game, what we expected, and Hellions, they get 1 drone in between the bases. Yeah, 1 drone does go down, but this is more in line here, and this is just a really safe way to play. Now, it's a safe way to play, that is true, but Dark will have the option to cut workers. If he does cut workers at 2.5 or 3 base saturation, he can try to go for a Roach all-in. That is going to be available here to Dark in a couple of minutes. We'll see if he goes into 1-1 upgrades. For now, getting a 4th expansion. That should just be for Larva for the time being. Dark, he's still droning up. And Bunny, he's still yet to move out here for another 30 or so seconds, just waiting for the medevacs before he pushes. When it comes to Hellions, he did lose 1, so this is a big pick-off already here. 1 Hellion went down. Like, the Hellbat supports can actually come into play in the mid game. We saw it last game as well, where the tank was protected so well here by the 4 Hellbats. Now down to 3. Dark, he's making his safety roaches. 7 roaches in production. I say 7 good to 10. We have 1-1 upgrades on the way. Now, one of the big signs here for the all-in is going to be whether or not Dark gets into +2 range or +1 melee. All of it is also, I imagine, going to be determined on how much damage he takes. Bunny, he's stimming in. Roaches are out. Roaches at patrol. They're rotating in. Oh, doesn't get the Overlord. Yeah, Bunny pulls away 1 second too soon. 4 HP on the Overlord. Whew. Dark's holding. Dark, he's holding on. Roaches are in position. And you can see that this army has kind of less bite to it now. Like, Roaches, they're very tanky. There's Transfuse as well. So unlike against a Lingbane army where Bunny can trade against the Lings, here, less so. So he can't easily trade against the Roaches. More Roaches on the way. Dark, so far, he's not droning. He is not droning up. He's not saturating his 4th base. He's making more Roaches. And Dark, he may just go for an all-in here with 1-1. With the 1-1 upgrades, I mean. 7 Overlords on the way. Dark, he gets supply blocked. Drop into the main base is deflected. And Dark, once he breaks out of the supply block, what are we going for? I'm leaning towards Roaches. I'm leaning towards the all-in. Up! Bunny does pull away. Yeah, there it is. 8 more. 8, 9 more. Nothing but Roaches here from Dark. Dark, he is not droning. Oh, this is late. This is not intended. You can see here at roach speed has begun, link speed has begun. Now he starts droning. Dark, he realizes that he cannot go all in. Did forget roach speed, and now he's got some droning to do. Oh boy. Okay. Never mind. So Dark, he does start droning again. He's a little bit middle of the road here. There we go. Starts up 2-2. So Bunny, he has time. He has time to build up, to fortify himself. So the problem here is that Dark is maxed. Dark, he's maxed out, but he can't really use this army right now. Again, the lack of road speed, I believe, was not intentional here. So in a way, this is kind of wasted supply for the time being. Now he's taking up into infestation pits. Basically, this could have been earlier drones. This could have been earlier drones, earlier workers to get faster saturation, to get into faster tech and a greater economy. Now Dark is maxed, and now Dark, he should be trading. He needs to start trading, and this has been giving time for Bunny to build up. Now, against a roach heavy composition like this, Bunny, he doesn't want to be active on the map. Not like this. And Dark is pushing in. He has a massive army. There are 3 tanks, but Dark is coming in from behind. Yeah, from both ends. Comes in for a surround. And tanks are going to be dealt with. There's just not enough support. The tanks, they all go down. Without tank support, Bunny, he cannot hold on against the mass roach. Yeah, Bunny just caught out in the open. And he's going to pick up, get the hell out of here. He needs more tanks back at home. And now is the time for Dark to commit. And Bunny, he has nothing. Bunny, he has nothing left here. He has 1 tank. Dark, he's trickling in. Okay. That 1 tank putting in some work. At the same time, though, Dark, he's getting to the mineral line. SCVs are going down. We see Bunny trying to pull off a defense. He does pull the boys. And it looks like Bunny, he will barely hold on for a little bit longer here, but there's still more roaches coming in. Oh. Last tank on sieges. Roaches from behind. Bunny, he bleeds out how many? He bleeds out 14 SCVs. Oh, God. 14 SCVs go down. Aye, aye, aye. And Dark can keep this going. And again, a lot of this came down to Bunny's push. I do feel like because Dark didn't hit his own all-in timing, Bunny probably assumed that Dark was droning. He probably assumed that Dark was just droning up, so he thought it was safe to push. We knew that Dark, he wasn't droning. It was just a late push because he was waiting for his upgrades. So Dark, everything just lined up for him. He was able to kind of catch Bunny off guard with his pants down. And Bunny has to rebuild those tanks. So rebuild that tank army. Until then, Dark is safe. Dark, he's safe to drone up a little bit more if he wants to. Dark, he can tech up into Hive, into Adrenal, into Lurkers, or into Ultras. There it is. It's going to be Ultra Tech here from Dark. Like, Dark is very safe. And this is where Dark really hits his stride. Like, I will say that Bunny, his strengths are usually his timing attacks. Oof. Which we saw in the last game, which we saw in Star Child. Like, that is where Bunny does, like, really hit his stride. And that's not happening here. He's already missed it. So Bunny, he has to be more defensive, and that's just not really how he operates. That's just not how he operates. Ooh, there are infestors all over the place. They're ready for their fungal growths. Bunny, he's not ready. Here come the fungals. Yeah, massive connections. Does land one. The Wiles up. Oh my god, Wiles connects. And Dark, he's getting his revenge. Another fungal comes in. Bunny may have taken down Dark 2-0 a couple of days ago, but here Dark, he is going to claim his own 2-0. Get his revenge, bounce back. And again, game one was so close. Like, game one was just on a knife's edge between the two players. Here in game two, it's a lot more in favor of Dark. Like, Dark, he's a lot more comfortable here. Again, Bunny, he misread the situation. The initial push did seal the deal, and Bunny's been behind since that failed push. As Creep is getting out of hand, getting out of control. This is also because, if you recall, it was a 2-on-1 opener, not Hellion. And likewise, Bunny is now stuck defending. He can't be active on the map. And Dark, he just has to ensure that these bases don't get fully operational. And Dark, he rotates. So he sees the expansion, he's aware of it, he's moving in. Now respects the army. At the same time, run by here towards left hand side. Shredden. Pushing on the right. Oh. Now, Bunny, he has been able to remax, true. He has been able to remax. Bunny, he doesn't have a bank to work with in the winner as much as Dark, but he does have a threatening army. No ghosts yet, unfortunately. Still stuck on a Marine Marauder tank. Yeah, and he's gonna get caught out here. Tanks are going down. The problem here is it is a mid-tier army. Bunny just doesn't scale too well here. Say that does get on top of the ultras. Okay. Does get one. Still a rough trade for Bunny though. And he will at least shut down these roaches. So Bunny, he's holding on. He saves and preserves his 4 bases. He's rebuilding. Those were expensive losses for Dark, especially losing all those ultras. We have 5 more ultras on the way. Bunny, he has to get some damage done before those ultras really come online. Behind, there's still no Ghost Academy. No Ghost Academy yet. Dark, he just has so much freedom here to just build back up and remax. He's got his 5 ultras. He has 3 infestors. Oh. Bit of a misrally. Using an ultra. Now, this is a bit of a concern just because Dark, he hasn't taken extra gases. There are no gases here at the 4th, at the 5th, at the 6th base. So losing these ultras, like, if he loses too many of them too quickly, like, it is hurting him. Ay, ay, ay. He has to be careful here. Likewise, Bunny, once he has some more resources, he needs to get into his own Ghost Academy. Into his own Ghost production. But now he is just focusing on purely maxing out, and he's gotten there. Surviving. Dark is down to 2 infestors. Oh yeah, one of them got caught out. He has limited fungals. Dark moving in. This time he has no surround setup, especially with the infestors, I mean. Oh, but Ultras, they knock down the expansion. Yeah, they bust into the mineral line. They force Bunny all the way back home. Ay. And Dark is just buying more time, building up a greater bank. Dark just waiting for his moment. Getting ready for another run by once again. Things they will cripple the economy. And they're just forcing Bunny all in. He's just forced into an all in. Now Bunny, he does have a super maxed army, so in a head-on fight, Bunny, he can still pull this off. But the problem is that we don't have head-on fights. Like Dark, he's just counter-attacking time and time again, catching reinforcements. Worst case scenario for Bunny is that these ultras make their way into the main and make their way into the production. And that would just be a kill shot here if Dark can get there. So Bunny forced the wall off. There we go. Dark, he does consolidate everything. The ultras are racing back. There are still only 2 infestors, 6 ultras. And they can try to flank this. Bunny's got 3-3. There we go. Dark, he commits. Does commit in. Surrounds the initial marauders. Yeah, this first flank going to go down. Massive fungals as well. There's no escaping this here. There's no escaping this. There's no tanks either. There's no backbone to the army. And Dark, he will solo this up. This is like a better example of like the soup does lie, where one army is not quite like the other. Without ghosts, like this Terran army can't really threaten all these ultras. Marauders are like a band-aid solution, but they don't really scale well once the ultra count gets up to this many. It's unfortunately just a very mid-tier army here for Bunny. And Dark just has to take it slow. Just take it slow. Wait for Bunny to move in. Likewise, Dark, he does collapse. Once again, a decent surround or decent flank. The Bio army does slip away, but the tanks do fall, and he can only cap for so long. As Marines are going down. And GG gets called. Dark, he will claim the 2-0. Dark, he will advance on to the semi-finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Dark, he will claim the 2-0, and Dark will advance on to the next round. Congratulations. Congratulations here to Dark. He does get his revenge, as he did go down previously to Bunny a couple of days ago. Now he bounces back. Does bounce back.